All right, we got Scrizzy about to try first ever front flip.
First timer.
And there's so many tips, so many critical things that I could give as a breakdown of what to do for your first one to make the odds of you landing it just 100 times better. So if you guys watch when I do my front flip, you always see that my front binding and the front part of my board comes off the ground a little bit. You want to make sure your board is always staying on the ground. So any movement you're going to do is going to stay with the board. You're not popping or ollieing and having your nose come off the ground. It's just a bend. The feature you want to try and do it on, you don't want it to be poppy. You want it to be kind of flat and a little bit of a kicker, but the most important part is the steepness and the downward of the landing and that there's powder there, because you're gonna pop and you're gonna wanna go down because you can't do a flat ground front flip with a snowboard.
Exactly.
Unless you're a legend, you're Miles Falcon. So the biggest thing you can do is remember, Scrizzy, taking notes?
Taking notes.
Is that you're going up. You want to pop upwards. So the reason that I bend backwards and round onto my tail is because I'm going to be putting all of that energy towards the front of the board as you approach the kicker. So maybe 3 feet, 5 feet before you're going to pop, you do your little tail bend, and then you push off of your front foot while it's bent. And as you're pushing up to go high, like up into the air, you're snapping that nollie. So that's why it's almost always a nollie front flip. People want to say, yo, can you do a nollie front flip? But by nollieing, that's the way that you get the pop to do the front flip. So right before, maybe 3, 4, 5 feet before, little tail, round it, and wait until you're almost at the tip of your nose to pop up. And combine your bent knee springing up with the pop of that kicker. And I'm gonna nuke one right over here. Just remember, biggest tip, you're going up. A lot of people want to throw it down. That's why I recommend having a downward drop, because if you do that by accident and you forget, it's more forgiving.
I just don't understand the not going like
you're going down. That down,
but it's
is
after
a
the
forwards
pop.
Motion.
Yeah. Yeah.
He makes it sound easy, but the butterflies do it all the time.
You had it.
Yeah.
You just didn't pop and snap. Snap. You did it perfect.
I forgot that this is where it was, so I was like.
Yep, that was kind of a weird angle too to be approaching that.
Yeah, it was kind of like I had to turn in. That's kind of when it went sideways on it.
Biggest piece of props I have, you stayed balled up the entire time.
But I didn't pop.
But you didn't pop. If you had popped and stayed balled up like that, you would have got that thing around. But honestly, maybe it's better because there's trees all in the landing right here.
Oh! Popped it right away.
That was my second one I ever done, but the preload, the spring, the
yeah,
went
that's
over,
perfect.
Worked good.
You have a reverse camber, so that's gonna make that a lot easier. The flat camber, like Scrizzy's riding, is gonna make it a lot harder, but when you do get that pop, that snap, it's gonna launch you.
That felt amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the tips.
I'll send you an invoice. You were perfect.
I landed a little back seat I felt, but like to get my...
But that was perfect because you were going downhill and it was powder and it was chunky, so you need that back seat. It was drip. You look better than I did because I grabbed right on my butt and it kind of, I don't think looks that good.
Hopefully we can see some more
but
of that.
If you get a dreamy one, you have some time to float, keep your arms by your side a little. That's the next thing, and then you just adapt your own style.
I just want to try another one.
Break it down.
Yeah, because I was just like riding and all of a sudden I'm like, here it is. Yeah.
We've dissected what went wrong with Scrizzy's first ever front flip attempt, which was a great attempt. What went wrong, Scrizzy?
Pop too late.
Initiated the pop
right
a little bit after the end of the kicker. And that's where you need that pressure to go from where the snow is to your foot is to bounce up. And if you look at Daly's footage, right before the end of it, his nose almost jabs into the tip of the kicker and you bounce and you pop up. And that's what Scrizzy's gonna do this time. He's gonna stomp.
Yeah.
Both of the boys, great work. And
one
major thing that I remembered, what was I gonna say?
He's gonna emphasize it.
We were gonna
He's
emphasize
gonna emphasize the difference between coming off something flat or
LAGO jump. Yeah.
When you're learning your first front flips, you want to do it on the type of feature that I explained, and that's when you're going to want that pop. But once you get them good and dialed in, you want to start taking them over 15, 20-foot jumps, 50-foot jumps, 100-foot jumps, or downhill powder kickers like you've seen me do today. it's only the upper body initiation. You don't need that snap and that pop because you don't need to go so high and whip it around. So at first, make sure you do that pop, make sure you snap, make sure you stay balled up. But then once you start going bigger, that's almost a whole different tutorial where you just need to kind of initiate with your body and send it forwards like you're doing a cliff jump. It turns into more of a cliff jumping style front flip where you're floating and you're waiting and you're spotting with your head, because when you dip your head forwards first and you try to spot your landing, your legs being behind you is kind of the insurance, like I always claim. And if you have core, then once you spot your landing, even if you haven't brought it around with your legs yet, you can tell that you're either gonna drop 2 feet and you need to engage your core and pull your legs around quick, or you can see your landing and you can tell that you're gonna have to drop another 40 feet and you overshot it, and you can open up and starfish and leave everything slowly behind you as you slowly rotate. So that balance and that security when you can actually dislocate your upper and your lower body by getting your head around, spotting it first, and then using your core to pull your legs around depending on how much hang time you have. Woo! Look at the neck on him. We need to see clips. If this is helping you learn how to front flip, we need to see clips. What are we holding on for?
The main thing I've been scared for years is finding the perfect spot with soft powder so you don't get hurt. So when you land, you're not crumbling your leg or your back. So finding that perfect little transition with the slope down to where no matter what, if you only make it halfway, you're just kind of laying on your back and rolling through with soft snow.
Yeah. You don't want it to be a mandatory stomp for the first time. You know, you want to envision it, make sure that you know you can do it in your head and have everything dialed. Watch my YouTube videos, get all the tips, run over them in your head, maybe stop before the feature, dial those in, and then when you drop, hone in, envision yourself stomping it. But it's nice to have that cushion, that net, that window of...
I've been snowboarding for 30 years and I've been waiting for that cushion 2 days, so find the cushion.
That was the example right there. You literally landed on your back.
Yeah,
you're golden.
that was good.
Feel great.
Chilling.
Probably a little bit more aligned.
Yeah.
It's like me at the KFG show the other night. Just go. Soot!
Senses out!
Stopped it!
I needed more speed.
Yep, that was perfect. Arms by the sides, keep them there. Yeah, we're hiking this, boys. We're hiking her.
If you think I'm exhausted.
So the issue that Scrizzy is dealing with is that when he's popping hard and whipping fast, he's opening up. And then when he doesn't get the pop is when he stays balled up. What you have to do is you have to combine them both. You have to get that pop, you have to launch it and whip it, and you have to stay confident when you're spinning balled up to get that flip around, open up once you spot your landing and stomp it. I'm claiming he's got it right now. You whipped it. You have it. I think you just might need a little bit bigger of a drop at first.
Maybe a little energy.
A little energy with her.
A little protein.
Day 9 in a row. Straight wasting powder. Just forcing Scrizzy to hike. All right, the final thing that I want to explain for this front flip tutorial is the difference between a tame dog, which I believe is when you're standing sideways and you flip like this. And that's all in the head, the eyes and the shoulders. And when you pop, if you kind of take your head and you dip it sideways and you're looking with your eyes, like your peripherals, that's how you'll stay in that tame dog position. But when you want to lay one out, all you do is you turn at your hips, open your shoulders up, and now you're facing that way. So when you do your pop and everything's the same, you kind of dive forwards. Once you're off the ground and you're in the air, your legs turn sideways, you do your flip like this, and then using your core is when you can just pull your legs back and stomp that laid out pistol dart style kind of front flip, which I think is just so sick. You got to be going huge, and yeah, it's all in the shoulder, opening up, doing a completely different front flip variation than the tame dog, which is more of a sideways head dip.
So tame dog straight over.
Dale, I'm glad we could
I'm glad to snowboard with you again.
Get you stomping your first front flips though.
Oh, yeah, my front flips?
In the tutorial of how to front flip.
I appreciate that.
I'm claiming we would have had Scrizzies today, but this guy hasn't had pasta or linguine or any type of red sauce in way too long, and he's been hucking lumber on his off days and then hucking lumber on his on days, apparently. Your first one was your best attempt though.
No, the first one was a bad one. First one was the one that I landed. No, I was like the second one, I think.
It was a combo. It was a mix.
It was rough, but we got it.
He's gonna get it. We got a long season ahead of us. But if you guys are stoked on the videos, drop a thumbs up. It means so much. And subscribe for the dream. You boys are on the road to 100K.
Throw a thumbs up. Stay over stoked. Get a running.
We got it.